Hello? Okay. Hi, everyone. How's it going? First off, I want to say, make a tiny announcement. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit sick, so you might, I will be muting myself when I cough, and my voice, the sound quality might be a little bit worse, so I'm sorry about that in advance. Yeah. But anyways, let's get ready. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew, and welcome to Game Dev Chatterbox, a small series where I chat with some really amazing and talented developers and find out more about what it takes to become a better developer. We will listen to their stories, their struggles, and successes, and I hope that this session will bring you inspiration, insight, knowledge, which will help you move you forward with your career. Today's session, we have two special guests from a studio called WULUM. They're quite an international team, as I believe. I think Tony is from Canada and Jake is from the UK. And as well, I think if I looked on your Kickstarter, right, someone's also from Colombia. This is definitely something that my team and I can relate to as well. Since Giacomo and I we're not from the same place, and also my musicians as well. So yeah. They're currently working on their game called Last Soul, which is a pixel art platformer about a robot called Bop in a post-apocalyptic world. Sorry. They have recently launched their Kickstarter and are working tirelessly on it. And they have recently surpassed 50% of their goal, which is amazing. And you can check it out on the link in the description. Today, I think we have Tony, which is... Is it like that? Yeah, I think that's the right direction. Tony is the lead programmer, director, and designer of the game. And on the right side, we got Jake, who takes care of art, social media, as well as level design. How are you guys? Are you ready?
Yeah, we're here. Ready to start.
Nice. Awesome. Tell us a bit about your personal life and how you got started in game dev.
I'm gonna start first. I started game dev on 12 years old. I have a beautiful computer, which was the Atari 800 XL, and that was my first experience with BASIC and creating a crappy game for Back to the Future that I loved in that moment. I moved away from the gaming, then I got to college, graduated, and for long years I've been working on databases and web pages, which was really horrible. And then when Apple and then Steam released their platforms, everything changed. And then I saw the opportunity when I moved to Canada about creating my own studio to create games. And that was in 2013. And from that moment on, yeah, I couldn't be, removed from this beautiful world. So yeah, that's my story.
That's awesome. And I mean, to be honest, for me, I finished my undergraduate in computer science and business management, and I was supposed to be an IT consultant in a way. Like
Yeah.
after I finished my uni, and I realized I was like,
Same here.
okay, do I really want to do this? And in the last few seconds, I got a kick, and I was like, okay, no, I have to do game dev because this is what it's calling me for, if that makes sense. So I think I can definitely understand with that. Jake, what about you?
So I started game dev when I think I was around 11 or 12 in Buildbox, a little mobile game creation app. And then I moved on to Unreal Engine and then bought a course, the full-time game dev, made by Thomas Brush. I then met Tony and
Mm.
I joined his Discord. I started making these little pixel arts for him because I loved Last Soul so much, and I wanted to work on the game. And eventually he said, "Yeah, come on, we'll let you come in." Obviously, now I'm 14. We've almost been working on the game for what, around in 3 months, a year. I'll be working on the game, so that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, that's how I started.
That's pretty insane. I mean, I told you this before we started stream as well. Like just being 14 and like getting yourself in such a head of start, I think is such a advantage for you if
Yeah.
you want to be part of this, right? And it's something definitely I wish I started earlier, and I think a lot of people feel like that as well. So definitely make the most out of that. Um, sorry, I'm reading chat. Chat is saying they should be louder. Is it still not loud enough? I'm hopefully we did a sound check before that, and I thought it was fine. Sorry if it's not. Yeah, let's see.
Bump it up.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah. So you guys are working on Last Soul right now. How is it going for you guys, and what stage are you guys on at the moment?
The moment of the at this moment the game is more than 50% developed. I mean, all the mechanics, that is related to the coding. I've been handling that for the last year, trying to have like everything feels like okay in the perfect thing, in the perfect settings that you can play the game and feel it like this is right, you know? And the only thing that we are finishing right now, well, there are two important things. First is the rest of the levels. We are planning to have at least 20 levels for the game, and though we have most of the art, we need to test, and that's why Jake is very important here because he's going to we're going to play in different levels and see how does that work.
Hmm.
And the other thing is the music, which is a really important and essential element of our game. So once we finish that, is the layer of the music and yeah, and the porting for the rest of the platforms. But I think that it's the let's say the core of the mechanics of the game, it's set. So yeah, now it's arting and creating the levels.
That's awesome. So basically, the main core pillars that you were building, you have that kind of finished, and the rest is like
Exactly.
building the layers on top. That's great. I'm guessing now,
Yeah.
in a way, would you debate saying that now the fun really starts when you actually start designing levels and making the basically playing with the tools that you've made and putting them in actual practice. So
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
how are you like finding management in that regards? Because how big is your team, if you don't mind me asking?
I think we've got six of us, haven't we? Or five,
It's
six.
yeah, it's like 5, 6 people. I have to say that I'm very lucky, to be honest, because I started this with other 5 people, and at the moment of the original ones, we're only three. One is the concept artist, the other is the musician, and me. But once we launched the prologue demo on the beginning of this year, more and more people, you know, get noticed about the game. We got like 10,000 subscribers on the first week of the prologue demo, which was amazing. And then we got a lot of subscribers to the newsletter, and then I met people like Jake that has been like, I want to, I want to do something. I would love to do something for your game. Is amazing, and then these people that is, let's gonna say, persistent as Jake, um, is and that show that hey, I can do things, and I would love to do things for the game. Yeah, eventually has become like not just the partners for this project, but the partners that I would love to have for future projects of the studio. So it's been amazing. I think one of the great things about the COVID is that I have the chance to meet a lot of people, and yeah, all these people around the world, as you mentioned. We have people in Venezuela as well working with us,
Oh
and
wow.
it is really amazing to have this collaborator effort that we have right now. And like Jake said a moment ago, it was like, yeah, we could have like 6 people that are the more consistent, like being with us And yeah, it's fantastic. It's really
That's
great.
awesome. Wow. And in terms of like what you've been doing so far and all the successes, do you think there's like a habit that have contributed to your success? If there's like one habit that you've have kept for you, like what is that habit that you think have contributed to your success or have rewarded you a lot in the long run?
That's a really tough question. Uh,
Yeah.
it's a really tough question. I think it's the consistency, dude. When people say, I would talk this, Jake and I,
Yeah.
that imagine that you get some people that is getting into the gaming industry and they say, "Hey man, I wanna create games, but yeah, I wanna know code, and I know code and stuff, and yeah, but I don't like social media." And it's like, dude, really? Yeah, you need to connect with your fans, and it's so really important to connect with your fans, and I think that we won't be right now in the level of awareness around the world of the game, of this game in particular, if we haven't made that big effort to connect, to go to the people, to try to contact on Twitter, on Instagram, on the newsletter here, and in YouTube and on Twitch. So it's a lot of effort. For me, for example, it would be easier. I had to be honest, when I work alone and I don't have my Twitch account open, but it is really important at the same time because that's the way I made contact with somebody like Jake and with other people, and open this. I think is really important. I don't know what you think, Jake, about that.
Yeah, I'd say that's, but I think that's spot on. But I think another habit to get success is to be the pain in the arse, to be the person that's constantly messaging and literally non-stop doing stuff every day and sending it to someone. Because that's how I met Tony. First time I said, "Can I work on the game?" He went, "No." And then I worked for like, what was it, like 2 months making a pixel art every single day when I got home from school, make a pixel art, send it to him, to be that, have consistency, to be the pain in the ass going, "Oh, what's the next thing you're doing? Oh, let me do this. Oh, I'll design that. I'll do this. I'll put the extra, 2 hours of the day in. I'll, go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning coding this thing out for you and doing a little, demo." I think that's another massive thing to think about.
So I think, I mean, from what I'm hearing, not only it's about consistency, but it's more on like the drive that you have for this project or for your personal endeavor, I would say. Um, and
Yeah.
that's I can definitely resonate with that as well because it's especially for indies as well. Because your example was like, oh, but I hate social media. Well, you can totally be a programmer or a game designer for a big studio, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong there's nothing wrong with that if you want to do that,
Yeah.
but you
Correct.
do have to understand that you know the perks of doing everything on your own is the freedom of your decisions have a immense impact on your product, and that's the difference.
And these are personal products,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, because everything that you pour on the game that you are creating is a direct reflection of yourself. Yesterday we were I was discussing with our publisher about the control system, and I was trying to explain, yeah, why I made the control system as it is right now, and I'm trying to understand at the same time because I don't want to be like closed to new ideas, but at the same time trying to see, okay, what is the feedback that we receive from people, of things that could be improved, of or things that you know if you try this one in one world it works, but not in platformers, it's not the same thing. So it's yeah, I think it's an amazing world here.
I see. And Tony, I believe you said you've been in other industries as well. You've also published mobile games as well, right? And
Yeah.
you've worked on other platforms basically, and you've published other games on other platforms. This is a more me just being greedy because I want to know, is there like a significant difference in terms of like game design wise, in terms of mobile games and computer games when you make them? Is there like anything like visibly
I, I,
different?
I think that mobile games are more restrictive, because, for example, if you want to create a game and you need to use all these controls, then doing it in a mobile game is not going to be the same experience. It's like if you're playing Mario on the mobile game and you playing on the console. So you see, oh, they solved these things, but they did it like automatically. And the experience is not going to be the same. So, but they have to do it. And I understand they have to do it because, this is the only thing that we have. I mean, we can put all the controls here. And that's really restrictive in terms of the mobile games. There are many things that you have to do that they have to happen automatically. So like it's the runners, for example. So you're going to be running, so you just have to swipe to one side or to the other, or to up and down. But that's the options. I mean, you can't run. I mean, you can add the running part because it's gonna make it more difficult to handle the controls in the mobile devices. And the other thing is that in terms of when you are going to think the how you're gonna make money for the game, it's also more difficult because in the mobile industry, people is used to, I don't want to pay for the game. So the only way to make money is that you could have a really big publisher behind you that is going to tell, okay, I'm going to invest in advertisement about the game so we can receive money from that advertisement. And that's really tough. I gotta say, I won't recommend it to anybody that is starting in the gaming industry. I won't say go for the mobile industry unless you just want to learn something new. But if you want to make money, if you want to have a shot, it's definitely you got to move to the consoles, computers, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely I think the biggest difference.
Yeah, I also feel like the mobile market also works completely on a different. It's like a different law. It's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'd have to say for mobile games, you gotta remember sometimes, like some of our games built up on Corgi Engine actually, and you gotta remember Corgi Engine is all built for mobile.
oh wow,
So it
okay.
is a mobile base. So basically, if we did release Last Soul on mobile, we wouldn't have any major differences. Obviously, you'd have to reduce some stuff to make it more stable, but there wouldn't be that massive difference to port. And obviously, making mobile games are a lot easier, especially if you're starting in the thing and you're not looking to be like this massive, getting loads of money,
Mm.
100,000 players and all this, which you obviously got. But getting all this, I think if you're just gonna you're starting, I'd say do a mobile game only because it's simple. But if you want to make a proper like Last Soul game or Tadpole Tales,
No,
definitely
don't say
PC is.
Tadpole Tales, because Tadpole Tales is a free like game, but I do understand
But
what you
like
say.
something good, like something that's solid, something that looks nice and has a good code base and things.
Right, I see. I mean, in a way, you can look at it. Well, it's debatable, right? Because on itch.io, for example, it's you just submit your game and you're fine. Whereas if you want to enter in Steam, there is $100 barrier of entry. On mobile games, I don't know how iTunes work, but I made a mobile game just for educational purposes as well, and you just had to pay like $30, I think, and then you can just publish as many games as you want on that account.
It that's
Google
for
Play.
Google, but for
Yeah,
Apple it's
Apple.
$100 a year, I think.
Yeah,
I
and you
see.
gotta do license and all this. I think I remember trying to release a game on Apple.
Hmm.
Um, when I started, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing all this licensing stuff. I'll just leave the game to the side.
I see. I mean that's also the same reason why I didn't launch my game on Apple as well. Because I first of all I didn't have a Mac, so I couldn't like port it with Xcode.
Yeah.
But second of all was also just the whole licensing problem. Whereas Google was just like pressing a few buttons, saying yes, and then off you go. Yeah. So, in terms of development for you both, what is the work that you find, let's say, you dislike the most, or you find tedious or hard, and how do you overcome that? What's your usual, let's say, solution to overcoming something that you're not very pleased of doing that's related to game dev?
I would say that in the process of game dev per se, I love everything. It's not exactly the game dev, but I'm going to tell you what is one of the things that took me time and is not as pleased as could be. That it's that extra effort that you have to put in your game. I mean, it's not your game. It's your name. It's your studio because it is you. It at the end is WULUM is not like, oh man, these are like 55 people. Is no, that's not gonna happen. And it's about you need to take the time to, for example, in my case, get to Twitter, check out what are the trendings, check out other people, what are they doing, try to make contact with them, send in a DM, even if they're not going to, they're going to say you, oh, you're spamming it, which we're not, but we're trying to reach to people. That's I'm not gonna say that is I hate it because this is the way that Jake and I met, but it's something that is time consuming and it's not like, oh, I would love to do this. It's like, yeah, I like to do this, I like to know people, but I'd rather go to making the coding, which I love, or making the art, or making anything related to the game. Anything related to the game is going to be really amazing. But yeah, you need to do that part because as I mentioned, is you are nothing without your fans. So you need to build this fan base and say, okay, let's see what they have. And it's I always put the example like Lucasfilm or I don't know, Marvel. And if these guys are going to launch a movie, I'm going to see the movie. I don't care what movie is. I'm just going to see the movie because they created out of me a fan. So Star Wars, they're going to launch a series. They're going to launch whatever they're going to launch. I'm going to see it, even if it's crap. I'm going to see it because I think is really it's. I'm a fan of that. And
Right.
you have to build that. You have to
I've got a
build that.
friend like that with Star Wars as well.
There you go. So I was part of the original generation of Star Wars, so it's very nice. And with Marvel, it's the same thing, and with many other brands that you've seen around, it is because of their fans. League of Legends, for example, is like, yo, it's people that they're going to stay with you. They don't care about what you're going to do. If you're going to do it bad or wrong, they're going to stay with you, and you need time to build that relation.
Right, right. And what about you, Jake? Well, what's something that you don't like doing, and
I'd
how do you
say
overcome it?
I think there's like two major things I don't like. One main in game dev is the code. Definitely the code. It's the bane of my existence, especially when you see that error pop up in Unity and you're just ready to like rage. But I think that's when sometimes I'll move to Unreal when to do node based. But I think to overcome the code, I'll always look into it, and I'll get other people on other servers. I know, like people on WULUM server, people on the Unreal server, and on the full time game dev. They're always there to help, and we always support each other. But I think the other main thing, a bit out of the game development process, but is the social media bit as well. That's a bit of a pain when you try and get all these followers, then it's like 26, and you're like, come on, get me that 1,000, get me that 10,000. But I think saying with Tony about the fans, I definitely agree, and that's probably one of the best bits about game dev for me. The connecting with the fans, getting like I've got like 4 fan emails there and people just messaging. I absolutely love it, and especially like on our streams, like I'm known as top notch, which is just. But it's nice because then people are starting to recognize you, and you're connecting with your fans and your audience, and I think it's really nice to do it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with social media especially, this is what actually Thomas Brush told me, because I reached him out at one point after I released Tadpole Tales. I was telling him like all the stuff that I have laid out, and I'm like, what should be I've got these options. What should be my next step, and what is my priority? Because I don't know. And he had a look over it, and he was really nice about it, and he told me that you need a website, you need a newsletter, you need to collect newsletters, because in the end, algorithm flows like the wind. It changes like the wind. You don't know where it's going, but having newsletters is you can customize your customer's journey exactly the way you want, and that's the thing you need to like kind of like get. That's the most important thing, at least. And with those people are your most loyal, let's say, fans who are like really interested in your project and the stuff that you do. I think with I try my absolute best, Jake, to never look at my sub count or my numbers, because to me it's very simple. I ask a question: is it doing me good? If it's not, I'm ditching it. That's the whole thing. That's it. Like, I'm not making the equation complicated. It's a very simple equation. Is it good? Take it. Is not, don't take it. Right. And so I try my best to not look at numbers. And you know, when it's doing good, I make the most out of it. And when it's not, that's fine. I keep on moving forward, right? And I think that's I think that's the mentality that also have served me a lot. You know, to help me.
I think that philosophy is perfect. I remember Steve Jobs when he launched the iPhone, and they say, oh, the iPhone is overpriced and nobody's gonna purchase the iPhone, and he said, well, if people don't like it, they are not going to buy it, and then we're going to have to go back and design something that is going to suit everybody. But at the end, it's the people who's going to say that. It's not you, it's not me, it's what is going to happen. And the rest is a story. So it's history, sorry. And the thing is, it's, for example, in a case of your game of Tadpole, it is amazing that you have to collect all these people, even if the game is free. And that's a recommendation that I took from Thomas and from other people, and I will recommend to others as well, is that try to create a first product that could be like cool enough for you to give it for free. Because if you can give it for free, you're going to start collecting this massive amount of people that is going to follow you and say, oh, this game is pretty cool. But that they can subscribe, they can be invited. You can invite them once you have them. You can invite them through Steam, through itch.io, to wherever, to join your newsletter and say, we're going to do something else. And these are the people that are going to become your fans. And that
Right.
at the end, they're going to say, okay, what else you have, dude? Even if you're going to charge them for the next product, it's going to be for, they have a reference of you. And then they say, oh, maybe the next product is going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's the
Yeah.
trick.
Yeah. I mean, the trick, or I don't know if I should call it a trick, but
Exactly.
but in my head, when I because I could have, you know, there's a clear reason why I released Tadpole Tales for free. I didn't just release it for free because I was like, I'll release it for free. It was a very intentional decision. you know, if I was aiming for a short run, if I didn't want to stay in the industry and I just wanted to make a game just part of the experience, I would most probably charge it. I would most probably charge it. But because I want to stay in, I want to make the biggest contrast possible to the market, if that makes sense. Like if it's a patch of like white sheep, I want to be that black one in the middle, so everybody, like, your eyes automatically unconsciously will look at it because it's the contrast. And so launching a game just like that for free, just boom, there you go, have it, play it, no ads, no nothing, you just get it. People asking questions, people are like, what, why is this free? And they don't even know, and I don't even tell them immediately why. That creates a response. And so, you know, that's basically, you know, what we did. I wouldn't say we did it with success, because there's a lot of things I could have done better, but based on my knowledge and during the time, the things that I knew, I think I did okay. Like, I don't regret it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry.
I have to say, we were talking about you, me and some other guys from full-time game dev. We were saying how much of a good strategy it was to do that, and I think someone even said, "I wish I did that. I wish I followed that strategy of releasing it for free, and you know, just like what you did." But we were talking about it, saying you did an amazing job and all that. So,
but you also have to understand that it was purely because I wanted to stay in for longer. I mean, it cost both me and Giacomo a lot of money to work on it without getting paid, without, like, this was during that time I was also in uni, so I was just half doing this, half doing that. I wasn't like necessarily full time. And Giacomo was doing freelance work, and he still is doing freelance work. And it's, you know, this hobby was quite, if you calculate like money wise, it cost us a lot, and it was for free, and we got nothing out of it, right? But we did get contrast, at least I hope. And
you get fans, dude, and you get fans as well.
Yeah, because we get connections, and that's
exactly.
what's really important. But yeah, I definitely hope you guys, for example, you launched it on the Kickstarter, right? And you also have a demo on Steam, by the way, guys, which is on the link in the description. You can check it out. Right? And so, what, your Kickstarter, you've been going on for how long now? I think you guys have 7 days left or something?
Yeah.
6 days.
6 days left. Right.
6 days now.
How is that going for you guys so far?
Oh, it's been really, really hard. The first day was was a boom.
Yeah.
We reached, I think, the 20 or 30% in 2 days. It was really, really huge. And but then I don't know why the rest of the days is going a bit slow. So yeah, right now we're trying to push as hard as we can for the rest of the day. I think it's important always to mention, as you said a moment ago, it's we are not doing a Kickstarter of $1.2 million to create a game. We're making a Kickstarter because we want to finish our game without having, the burden of the money, and you have to live, as you mentioned a moment ago. You need to get money to live. But the only thing we want is to assure the next 6 months of development, and to make it, a more comfortable path.
I think that's the key. That's the key word. More comfortable path. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's not. We're asking for around $20,000, which is basically nothing for a gaming.
No, it's not that much.
Of that quality. And the other thing is what you mentioned. Try my game. I'm always say, try my game. If you don't like my game, I understand. Don't make your pledge because you don't like my game, because maybe you like 3D, super complex graphically games, and you don't like mine. But if you try my game and you laugh and you challenge yourself and you say, oh, this is the last time, and then you do it again. Oh, this is the last time, and then you do it again. Oh, this okay, and then you go in again. Then you like my game. So check the experience and make a pledge, because even if you invite us to drink a coffee, as I mentioned, that it's like okay, it's $5 here in Canada, which are $3 in the States. Invite me a coffee, just a coffee, and even if you don't want to get the game, that is going to represent a lot to us, because that's really important. Now you want the game is $20, 15 in the States, and then so on. Even you can have your own logo in our game, or design things with us. So it is an option that you always have, and it's another way for us to connect with people, with the fans, and everybody. Right now we have, I think, around 200 backers of the campaign, and that's amazing. It doesn't matter what is going to happen with the campaign, but of course this is the last week, and we're going to push it as hard as we can.
Oh yeah. I mean, Last So clearly is a very important project for you both. And with this project, because you said you've been making it for more than a year now, right? Correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where
That's it.
where did it all come from? Like, where did the passion come from?
For the design of this game,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, I have to say that this game didn't start as a game. It was a story, and it was a story that I shared with a friend of mine, and I even tried to sell the story to Pixels, to
Pixar.
Pixels. Pixar,
Yeah,
sorry,
Pixar.
Pixar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right now I'm confused. Yeah, whatever. And they say, no, you don't work here. So basically, no, we're not gonna listen to your story. And say, oh, okay. So I shared with my friend, and he told me, hey, why don't you make it in a game? And I said, yeah, that sounds like an interesting idea, but I don't want to try to complicate myself with 3Ds and worlds. And I said, I never try pixel art. And I say, I want to try pixel art. So it was like that. It was a project like that. And then, the classic games like in Mario, and I want to say, okay, I'm going to do a shooting platform. I love shooting platforms. Let's see how this is going to work. And we make a test. The test was pretty nice. We make a first contact, and then at the end, I wanted to create at least 2 levels that people could test and say, I hate them or I love them. So
Mm,
that was what happened on February this year, and then
February.
it was like we confirm, okay, we're in the right path. Let's continue the path.
Oh,
And
that's the best
yeah,
feeling when you get that feeling. You play test and you try it out and you're like, this is good. This is good.
yeah, yeah.
With Tatful Tales, the first 4 months wasn't like this. Only like afterwards we did some major design decision changes. We're like, okay, this is actually good. We're like,
That
oh, okay,
happens.
yeah. So yeah, I totally get that. That's awesome. Is during your development throughout this project, has there been what's the biggest mistake that you've ever done that taught you a very good lesson? Are there any big mistakes that you've done?
For this game or for my
Oh,
entire.
general. You can be general, but this game as well. If you have anything, like, is there a decision that you've done that, or not a decision? Is there a mistake that you've done that taught you a very good lesson? Like,
Yeah, it's not about the game,
no.
and that will be something that I will like to share to everybody that is going to start their journey on as a game developer. As Thomas told you, um, if you're going to create a game, I'm going to take a nice story, Valheim.
Okay.
Valheim started as a really bad concept, but since the first day, these guys created a Twitter account and they start posting, and they say, "Okay, this is my character." And it was like a stick, guy with sticks like that, and but they show it, They start to showing their work, and while they were developing their game, they were building this community, and building that community was essential for them at the moment that they make the release of the game, because now they have a bunch of fans that has been all this developing, and they're seeing, oh man, how you progress from the first
Oh
version
yeah.
to the version that they have right now. And I think it's not yet officially released, and it's amazing. I think it's admirable for me
It's a
what they
level of
do.
humility that they are
Yeah,
not afraid to show, and I think that really makes them feel a lot more authentic in a way, I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
I always say to people, even if you have a napkin, the sign of your level, take a picture of the freaking napkin and put it on your social media and say, oh man, look at that. We have this idea on the restaurant that we were, I don't know, having a coffee or something like that. Put that on social media, because that's what you say. It's like, oh, dude, these guys are really creative. Whatever they are, they're doing their stuff. It's not just, you know, show
You can
yourself
also
as
do
you
like
are.
showing before and after as well once you actually
Oh,
have the level as well. That's the
Nah.
most satisfying thing to see as well on Twitter. I love
I don't know
seeing
if
them.
you see, I don't know if you see the prototype version of Lasso, but
No, I
if you
haven't.
didn't, I'm going to send it to you later.
It
On
looks
Okay.
YouTube. And it says like, when you see it, it's something like, okay, this has potential, but oh man, you have to work on the graphics. It's not.
Look,
It is like that. But it was amazing. So if the error, the mistake is considering that when people say, no, I prefer first create something before showing to people. No, dude, create, or duders, create and show, but being doing that, and before anything, do your newsletter and allow people to subscribe to you. It's
Giving them a
a
direction to go to. Yeah. Yeah.
give them directions. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never too late. Start. I thought like that, and yeah, that part where I lost my hair, that caused me, because it's because of that. I didn't understand that, and I wish somebody told me in that moment in 2013, dude, you have to create your newsletter right now.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Me too. I wish somebody told me when I started before making Tadpole Tales. I wish I had a newsletter to begin with, because that way, it might have been somewhere like not. I don't think there might be a huge difference, but there would definitely be a significant difference, right?
yeah.
So for people who are watching, get yourself a newsletter, and it's never too late. It's never too late.
That was great, yeah. And post,
And
post.
post.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
anything.
what you said here, apart from like I personally, when I first started my game development journey, I was watching a lot of Tom. I forgot his family name, Tom, but he was from Game Dev Underground, his YouTube
Oh,
channel.
Game Dev Unlocked, David Whaley.
No, Game Dev
No, all right.
Underground.
Dave Dev.
He's from America, and he mostly talks about marketing, about game dev, marketing for game development and for
Oh
games
yeah, I
usually.
know where you're talking. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and
yeah.
he
He
was
talked about the designs for the Steam page, and yeah, I
yeah
know
yeah
where you're talking.
and I was basically like my entire Tadpole Tales philosophy. I based it around from like I used his, you know,
Reference.
core ideas, and I've kind of like went with that mentality and made the game, and that has served me really well, because during that time, I wanted to like, okay, I'll just show literally what you said, showing in the napkin, right? I was literally just every single day, whatever thing I did, as minimal or unimportant as it was, I will make a screenshot and show it to everyone, like, look at me, I did this. And that's
Totally,
it.
yeah.
And
That's
okay,
it.
you don't get a lot of let's say you don't get a lot of viewership and stuff, but again, you don't have to
Yeah.
care about that. All you have to do is to just be consistent, because even if one person sees it and they get a reaction from it, that's already valuable enough for you. Like, it was already worthwhile of your efforts to put it out there, if that makes sense. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, that they kind of just if you're not above something, some view counts, it was not worth it. Like, no,
Oh
it was
no.
worth it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need again, it's consistency. You have to continue doing it, and believe me, it's going to build. It's going to build up.
Yeah.
So do it.
Also
Just do it.
adapt, consistent and adapt. That's, I think, the two key words, because you can't also be just consistent and do the same thing, and even though it's not working and you keep on doing it, if it's not working, analyze it. If you understand something, analyze it in a more the least emotional way possible, just purely analytical, and make changes to that and see if you can make any good changes. And if you're going to a better direction, keep pushing that way, and so forth and so on. But yeah, that's awesome. Also, guys, I just want to thank Tony as well again for coming up on this stream. He lives in Canada, and it's currently 4 or 5 a.m. for him. I told him to change the date, but he was like, "No, it's fine." So I was like, "Okay, well, if you want, sure." So yeah, I want to give a huge thanks to Tony for spending his very precious time, especially during Kickstarter right now, to spend a few hours to give us some insights. So like Tony said, if you guys want to check, if you guys are interested in 2D platformer games, right? I'm making a 2D platformer as well. If you're following me, you should like that. Anyways, you should check it out on their Steam and play their game. Try it out. If you like it, why not give it a Kickstarter? Give them a chance to make the game that they want. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you one last question. If you had to start from zero again, what would you do step by step on achieving your dreams?
I'm gonna leave that to Jake
You have
first.
let's say you have all the knowledge in your head, right? You have everything you have, but you don't have the products or anything like you've done physically. What would you do step by step? Yeah.
I'd get in contact with people. Start getting in contact with, the Thomas Brushes, well, obviously this is a big straight, like the Ramiros, the Carmacks, all that. I'd start getting a connection, because I think when you've realised not to be afraid of asking, because I think I've never asked someone in the game dev and they've never, they've always responded and have always been helpful, and it's not to be afraid to ask, because they'll always help. They'll always go, "Oh yeah, I'll give you a tweet. Oh, there's an extra, 1,000 views. Oh, this is, and then they'll share it, and then this will share it." But then I'd do that, and then I'd start just making a demo for the game, and I'd get, a friend to help me on different things. Say like, I actually have done this. Say like Eric, a very amazing guy who's on the stream. I'd just say, "Oh yeah, dude, help me with this. We'll build it up," and then I'll go, "Right, thanks for that. There's your little thing." But I just carry on building up the game, getting connections, letting people work on it, and build it up and up and up, and letting people just do their little part on it.
I see. Well, what about you, Tony? What would you do step by step? Like if you just had to imagine that, like time, let's say time reversed back in time, right? You went back in time and you had to start again, and you have a laptop. Let's say you don't have to worry about food or shelter. You're fine, and you just have to start again. Yeah. What would you do? What would be one of your first few steps? You can tell that this is a question definitely for people who just want to start up as well. And
yeah, I don't know if I mentioned before, but create a newsletter.
right.
Yeah, I have to say that a lot. I would try to as what Jake mentioned, I think is correct. I think is try to make contact with other people, try to ask the right question.
Right.
And in my case, for example, I started the gaming because I knew all the things. I started creating games using Xcode for Apple, and this is an amazing platform. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the most amazing for creating games.
Yeah.
So and it's too restrictive. And then, like a year after I started that, a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you try Unity?" I said, "Yeah, of course. I'm always open to ideas." And then I started Unity. And where do you want to go? Well, if I had to start again, take a very cheap course on Udemy,
I
about
started in Udemy as well.
Yeah.
exactly starting. Find the course that says uh, Unity for beginners, and it has
It's the one
like
I got.
5,000 followers. Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
one I got
And
as
then
well.
exactly. So go for it, and probably it's gonna have like 80 hours. Don't get
Yeah.
frustrated about
I
that.
finished the whole thing in a summer. I just
Oh,
did it. I was like, I'll just
yeah.
get it to do it. I got a summer holiday. I'm like, okay, just go for it.
I
Yeah.
think that's the perfect way for you to test yourself and saying, "Oh, this is for me," because if the course says it has 80 hours and you can stop. I mean, you're doing the first 10 minutes and say, "Okay, let me go to the next 10 minutes. Okay, let me go to the next 10 minutes," and then you do it. Then you have a passion for it. Then you can continue that and you can build over that. This
Right,
is layers that
right.
you're building on. And then you can say, okay, I want now a more advanced course and more, I want 3D modeling on Blender. And we're talking about tools that are free. I mean, that's amazing, dude. I mean, when I started coding in the 80s, I didn't have internet. Can you imagine that? I have to go to people and say, "Hey, do you know BASIC? Can you help me with this line of code?" What the heck is happening with the code? It was horrible, man. It was really horrible. And today you can ask out, and that's really great.
It's a
And
privilege.
so it's a
Yeah.
privilege. So do it. Take a course. Wait. Hey, don't purchase the course on $120. Wait for
Yeah.
the offers every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That is $15 or $10, and you're gonna get a really nice idea if this is going to be your passion. If you want to continue doing it, you're going to figure out.
Right.
And please post and do your newsletter. If I didn't say that
Share your
before.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think one other thing is I think one thing that I did as a big mistake was when you realize you've got distracted by someone or something, don't be afraid to, say, right, this is what I love. I'm not going to get distracted with you. Because I think through the process of Last Soul, I have got distracted, I think, mainly twice in a big ways. Once with someone, and I spent like 2 months, 4 months of just not properly dedicating myself, and I got distracted way too much. And I think that was one of the biggest mistakes because I cut myself off from game dev and I lost, a couple of connections. And I think another thing is you got to realize how many people are actually supporting you and behind you, because something happened and I came back and I said, "Oh, hi guys." And the amount of people who were saying, "Oh, hi, how are you going? Oh, sorry that happened." I was like, wow, you've neglected and just kind of forgot about all these people that are supporting you and behind you. And just when you realize that you're getting distracted, just stop and carry on, because it's the best thing that you can do. Yeah, that's what I'd say, because I've done
Right.
it too many times now.
I see. I see. I mean, I personally also think the game dev community as its own, it's one of the most welcoming communities and most accepting
Yeah,
communities. People are
definitely.
friendly. People share their insights. Like, we're part of the internet culture, which is just share, share, share. Like, for example, I probably haven't even said this on my devlog, but even for this game, Pinni's Tiny Adventure, we're planning on releasing the source code for free, just like that.
Exactly.
Just give
Yeah,
it
yeah.
out and like,
Amazing.
here's the source code. Like, I don't know if it's gonna help you that much because
Subscribe to my channel. Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty.
I would suggest
I'll
you like,
take
oh,
it.
but subscribe to my channel. Exactly. That would be amazing because, you know, it's a way to repaying, to
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
it's
But
your effort.
Yeah,
It's your
yeah, yeah,
effort.
of course.
Even you're saying I'm giving it for free. I'm just asking you to join my newsletter and check what we're planning to do in the future,
Right,
because
right.
maybe we can release something even bigger, and then this is going to be free, and you're gonna enjoy it as well.
Yeah,
And I think that what you mentioned about the indie developers community, and I always say that, is that today, for example, in our case, we have 10,000 followers on almost. We're heading fast to the 10,000 followers on Twitter. We have more than 10,000 on Instagram. At least it's something around that, and is for me, it's amazing when somebody sends me something that I think, oh yeah, these guys deserve a boost, and send me a Twitter, and I think, oh, this product is cool. I'm going to give them a boost, even if it's my channel, even if it's my, I mean, it's my world, to say it in a way. I love to, to help my peers that, hey, you're doing something great. I'm going to put it because, it doesn't cost me anything.
It's a
And
win-win
because
situation. You're building
at
relationships
the
and you're
end,
helping.
it's like that. I mean, Marvel, you can see Iron Man, but once you finish Iron Man, you say, okay, I want to see something else. And then Iron Man 2, and then Thor, and then Iron Man 3, and then Captain America, and then the Avengers, and I just finished yesterday. I saw in the Shang-Chi, and it was like, oh, it was amazing. What's coming? It's like, and in this game, in this industry, it's like that. I mean, you can create your game. It's going to be successful. People are going to love it, but they want another game. So, and that could be my game. And then
Right.
they finish it and they say, oh, this is I love the game. And then they're going, I want another game. And then they're going to Jake. And it's the way this community works. So yeah, don't be afraid to support others. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
If you have something, in fact, share it with us. We have a Discord where we encourage people to say, hey, I have this. What do you think about that? It's not like I know Discords where I got invited and people say, yeah, you can be here, but you can't promote your game. It's like, okay, I'm out of this Discord if I can't share what I'm doing. So yeah, don't count me in. I need a community that is open to say, yeah, you can promote it here. Yeah, of course. And if you put
Right.
your Twitter, then I'm going to say, of course, it doesn't have to be. It has to be some quality, but we have surrounded of people that are trying to do something really beautiful, and you feel it. You feel it.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
see something, you feel like, oh, this has love, inside, and then you can help them do it. Do it.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's been all the questions. Now we have about 1 to 2 minutes of promo time. So tell us how we can connect with you and any last few words of advice.
Jake,
Newsletter.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, about the newsletter.
Yeah, well, just sign up to the newsletter. There you go. To connect with us, I'd say if you've got a Discord account, just join the Discord, message us as soon as you can. Just go straight on, or even on Kickstarter, put a comment on the Kickstarter page. Even if you're not a supporter, we'll respond straight away. There's even a space on our website where you can send Tony an email that'll go straight to him. So if you want to connect to us, just go either through Discord, Kickstarter, Twitter, Instagram, messages on all the social medias. Even if you want to, you can see all the connections through Steam. You can do anything like that. And obviously, I will respond straight away. I love talking with you guys. It's like I've met some of my best friends off doing the game. So, like, I think I've connected more with Sethi, who's an absolute amazing person who shows me all his work all the time. But yeah,
Mary.
Mary and
Mary,
people
Kurt,
like that.
yes.
It's or Hector.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I think Andrew's put all the links in chat there, and
I have, yes.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for that.
Awesome.
And sign up to the newsletter.
Don't forget, please. Jake mentioned everything except the newsletter. So, yeah, join the newsletter because the newsletter is the way for us to tell you this is what we're doing right now, or how we can invite you to test things. To say, hey, we have a new version. Can you test it? Can you check it? Can you play it? Can you stream it?
You can be part of the tester. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm just gonna. If you want to be a tester on the game, actually, just before we run out, I'll send you a link for G Round, our testing company, so you guys can get a little test of the game and put support on there. I'll find the link now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
open.
now we've reached to some short Q&As. So guys, if you got any question to ask Tony and Jake, it is your time now. I will ask my first question. I'm going to ask both Tony and Jake, and you can only reply with one word. Well, not one word, but a one like title. What's your favorite game of all time? Go.
Adventure.
Half-Life.
Half-Life. Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Impernator asks, I have a question for Tony. What is your all-time favorite newsletter?
All-time favorites newsletter. I don't know.
You can say your own. I mean, that's... I follow...
I don't know.
I can say mine. I really like, for example, I like, what was it? Haiku the Robot from, you know Haiku the Robot?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So Jordan is his name, the developer, and his newsletter is very clean. I like it a lot. And also he's not super spammy. Like he only, when it's something really big and meaningful, he releases it, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I don't want my thing to be filled with stuff, but when it's important things, it does fill. So I'm like, it's very nice. I like Jordan's newsletter.
I think a newsletter, in my case, I love newsletters where I have some images.
Oh yes,
the progress
What's your
that people is doing. It's yeah, as I mentioned, even the napkin, the napkin thing is going to be like, oh, this is this is great, and yeah, send me an update once a week for me. I mean, if you're doing something in the game, not because you're taking a picture of your dog, but definitely send me that information. I'm subscribed to all my my peers. I'm always, every time that I try to contact somebody, and in the DM is here overall in this community, is because they're related to the game industry, and the first thing I ask is, do you have a newsletter? And they say, oh, I have a Twitter account. Well, yeah, okay, I can follow you on Twitter, but if you want to keep me posted, is for me, it's not going to be Twitter, it's going to be the newsletter. So yeah, we're going to the newsletter again. But yeah, it's the thing. Show me an image. It's really important, a picture, something.
Also, I personally really like Wholesome Games newsletter, but purely because of the color, the way it's done, it's really nice.
Yeah,
I love the layout. CJ Sky asked, "What's your favorite Twitter account?"
Mine.
John Romero.
Oh no, my favorite Twitter account. I don't have favorite. It's I don't.
I have
really
one, but
don't.
it's not game dev related. It's photography related. There's this like, and I can't even spell it because it's in Japanese. But there's this photographer that takes like really, it looks like a drawing scene from an anime, but it's an actual picture. And yeah, it's the thin line that you kind of can't tell unless you zoom in. You're like, oh, it's a picture. It's not a drawing, type of thing. And I really like that. What is the best way to make a good community? Is it Twitter or Discord? Ask Okba Amrate. Sorry for butchering your name.
I'd say
I think it's not mutual, exclusive. Excludent? I don't know. Sorry, I lost the word.
Right.
But the thing is, saying that you're going to build a Discord, I think, without a Twitter account is really difficult, because how can people discover what is your Discord unless you have, I don't know, all the way to say that? We have Instagram, we have Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, the mail list,
Even TikTok.
the Discord.
Yeah.
We have TikTok. We have everything. And if I'm going to tell you, oh, remove one, if you have to ask me remove one, I would say I don't know which one to remove, because they are all part of a big thing. And this is what I was talking to you a moment when you mentioned what is the boring part. Well, sometimes the boring part is that you have to check all your communities. You have to take time of your day, and sometimes it's 1 hour, sometimes it's 2 hours of your day checking the different communities, because you have to keep posting and you have to keep active things. Uh, I started with Twitter, and for me, Twitter has been the way to communicate the 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 growing of the rest of the platforms. So my recommendations in the gaming industry is start on Twitter, but always try to show the path to the people. Okay, and this is our Discord. Post, post and open the conversation on the Discord, and say on the Discord you'll be able to share.
I think
Because if you don't say that, people is not going to join you.
right, right. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
cut off. I'm sorry.
No
Uh,
worries.
I wanted to like probably the short answer for Okba is just get Discord is more for community, good community, but you cannot nobody would know how to get in if you don't have a social media platform. So basically get a social media platform that you are most comfortable in, be it Twitter, be it YouTube, be it anything you like, not Discord, sorry, TikTok or Twitter or Twitch, but it has to be a social media platform. And then from there on, if you want to build the community, you then get a Discord and you have a more, let's say, up close conversation with your peers there, if that makes sense.
There is a great advantage that Twitter has that many other platforms doesn't, which first is massive, but also you are allowed to put the links, because you can put links on Instagram, for example. I love Instagram. I love the images. I like to see images. I'm so inspired by
Instagram is
images.
like a gallery, whereas
Yeah.
Twitter is
Exactly.
birds chatting. So it's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
Twitter, you are allowed to put a link and invite people to your newsletter, invite people to your Discord, invite people to whatever you want to invite people. I'm not talking about the bio. I'm talking about on the tweet per se.
Right.
So I think that's why I will start there. But what you mentioned is absolutely Discord is another thing. This Discord is to talk about something. So yeah,
It's
it's
more.
more
It's not. Social media is people listening to you, and then you listen to others. Discord is you talking to each other, having a conversation.
Yeah.
So
exactly
yeah,
perfect.
David.
That's you hate it.
Yeah, David asked, "How did you come about making this symmetrical pixel art? I love how you use simple shapes like squares and circles to make complex art."
I think for this, it would be cool if we had Danny here, but obviously she's not here. But I'd let Tony answer it because he started off all the pixel art, and obviously Danny's been developing his pixel art in an absolute beautiful, beautiful style that she's been doing it in. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you a secret. The
Ooh.
secret is I took a course of Udemy on pixel
Oh,
art. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the basic really course on Udemy, because when I was starting making pixel art, it was on Photoshop, and it's so wrong, dude. It's so wrong
Yeah.
idea doing pixel art in Photoshop. And then I took this course and it showed me, okay, we have these tools, and finally we get to the A Sprite tool to make pixel art, which I think they don't pay me. I always say that, but it's the best tool ever to
Yeah.
do pixel art, and it's so cheap. By the way, you don't have to pay, I don't know,
Yeah.
$400 on
Yeah.
license every
Photoshop is
year.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, no way, really. It's horrible, painful. Yeah, and these guys are, I don't know, like $20 is your license forever, and
Good to
they
go.
always improving their stuff, and they are dedicated to pixel art.
Yeah.
Photoshop is not for pixel art. Photoshop is for biggest things,
For
and
a variety of
and
things. Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
really Sprite is really easy to learn. Even if you go to YouTube and say, "Hey, how to work with Sprite," you're gonna find a nice tutorial that can explain how to do it. The rest is you trying to test yourself. Is, you know, like feeling, okay, let me try and make a character I know in 8 pixels, tall and wide, and try your best, and then try to do it with 16, with 32, with more, and see what is the size that you like. Oh, this is like the size I want, the resolution that I want for my game, and then go for it. But you will find beautiful games that are, on these days. In fact, Jake and I, we were checking some beautiful game that is promoted on Kickstarter. I don't remember which one is, which is really basic on pixel art, a lot more basic
Oh,
than ours, but it was beautiful created, really beautiful created. And then when you show that you don't have, I mentioned this one. One of my favorite games is oh, I forgot, Super Meat Boy.
Mm.
And Super Meat Boy is not, graphically is not nothing really impressive,
oh,
but it's so beautiful made,
It has an
and
aesthetic, right? That's the thing.
yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And try to draw in. Making pixel art is so relaxing because it's pixel. You put 3 points and you say, "Oh, this is starting to look like a head. Oh, this is starting to look like that." And then you'll see quickly that you don't have to be a big artist to make
Yeah.
things in pixel art, and that's amazing. And then is what Jake said is when he sent me something and say, okay, now putting more shadows here or putting more things, and then he when we started, Jake sent me something. What do you think about that? And then I took their ASprite file and I say, well, I will do this and put this here and then put this here and then put this, and then Jake, oh my
Yeah.
god, okay,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
and then he continues and doing their stuff.
Right.
So that's amazing. Pixel art, I love it. Pixel art, it's my
You love it.
yeah. I love
Uh,
Blender. Well, pixel art is
Blender's an amazing
I had
software.
Bargy, if you guys know. Bargy made me he introduced me to Blender, and I fell in love. I find Blender, okay, not UV unwrapping or all that stuff, but just
That's
modeling.
tricky. Yeah,
Just
that's tricky.
modeling was very fun.
Yeah.
But not
Model-
not the UV unwrapping. That's
No.
tough.
yeah, that's
Pain.
tough. Yeah, that part is tough.
Textures. Yeah.
But
But for that, you have also a course in Udemy. If you
Yeah,
don't,
I did a course. That was the first ever course I ever did in Blender. That's how I got into proper game development in Unreal.
I see. Nico asked, "Will Last Soul support mods?" And I think this is the last question.
I can answer this because he's actually my
Yeah,
friend.
sure.
I don't know if it's Pixel or Nico. I'm sorry if it's your brother. I think for you, I let you, do your little things. I'd give you a base level in Unity, but I don't know if we would support mods because we've got to integrate some stuff in it. But that's down to Tony, really. So Tony gets to say the final decision. He's put on the podium now.
Yeah, I think that nothing is close to Lasso. Some people ask me, "Hey, can we have Lasso on the mobile?" And I say, it's not that I don't want it on mobile. It's just that I don't see it right now. But if we are going to sell 1 million copies of this game, and people asking me, "Oh, please, in mobile," yeah, of course you're gonna have it in mobile. But yeah, it's gonna take time, and the tricky thing here, dude, is always Nico, correct?
Yeah, Nico or Pixel.
I think that the tricky thing here is that you have to balance yourself very careful with your budget and your time, and
Right.
you have to be uh, very wise. And this is sometimes is really difficult. It's really difficult because you can get so complicated so easy, and you always are trying to make yourself uncomplicated. And even though some people is gonna say, "Oh, but this mechanic is a crap," yes, yeah, dude. But it's an effort. It takes really every dollar and every minute of your time to do something, and you always try to aim to, okay, what is going to be the biggest market here. One of the consoles that for us is the most important is Nintendo Switch, for example, right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, right.
we have received a lot of people saying, dude, I will purchase the game immediately. It will be for Nintendo Switch. And for us, it's like, okay, we have
I
to listen to people, you know?
our dream as
And
well is to release it on Switch as well.
yeah, I would love to see my game here on Nintendo Switch.
It's
That's
it's like a
Yeah.
dream come true. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And
One.
now we
Yeah.
have also Steam Deck that is going to be
That's what I was
released
gonna say.
next
Yeah.
month, I think. Well, hopefully.
No, in
It got delayed.
Q2 in it
It got
next
It got
year.
delayed. Oh,
delayed. Yeah.
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 Okay, okay, okay.
So,
I think we're already like past the
Yeah, a
threshold by
lot.
a lot, and I'm so sorry because I know Tony is really sleepy and probably tired as well.
No, we
I'm,
started.
man, I'm okay.
All right. Okay, well, if you're sure, I guess, okay, we can just go with one final question by Saul asked. How do, how do you handle having other ideas slash games you want to make when working on a long-term project? How do you handle that?
Oh, we can both relate to this one. I think Tony can say some stuff
To me
about
personally,
his little thing.
this happens to me as well when I play video
Yeah,
games that I really like, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
yeah,
And now I just want to make that game.
yeah. It's I'm gonna say last night I kind of accidentally made an RP, like a Skyrim game by accident, and I'm like, oh come on, I gotta finish Last Soul. But I think it's pretty good actually because it gives you a bit more of a push in to finish that game and get onto your next one then, because obviously on the board next to me there's a game idea all drawn out that I did like last week, and on the napkin over there there's another game idea like what Tony said. But yeah, I think Tony can relate to that one a lot for something. So
I think it's a tricky thing because the problem is not to the lack of ideas. And I always say that the problem is not the lack of ideas; it's the lack of time, and sometimes the investment, the right investment to continue creating the idea. I would say I don't have even with my experience, I don't have like an answer for it. Uh, I always try to if I have a new idea, try to write it down, put it in some place, try to make it like a box for it, and when you have it, when you have something new, don't stop it. Just but draw it right
yeah,
now. Put your things in a moment on a place. Right now, I'm eager to finish Last Soul. Believe me, I'm eager to
yeah,
finish Last Soul. I want to finish my game. I want to see people playing my game, and because I want to continue to the next product. And I have the ideas for the next two products that I want to create, the next two games that I want to create. But you have to focus on what you're doing right now. It's really
Right.
important that you finish
yeah,
what you're doing because at the end it's like life itself. I mean, it's a part of it. You need to do one thing and then to continue to the next one and continue to the next one and saying, okay, what is going to be the next challenge? But finish your challenge. Finish your challenge.
yeah.
Continue.
I
Right.
can definitely say, because I think what you don't want to do, because I did this, is you don't want to stack too many projects on top. Because I remember I've got all these game ideas, and then I got a friend saying, "Oh yeah, I want you to work on this," and then I got into a company. I think I had like 5 games going on at once. You know, I had like Last Soul, then I was working with Eric on a game he's making. Then just before I started working on Last Soul, I was working with a team of 5 on a totally another 3D game. And then obviously I was working on my own projects. So obviously, you know, it builds up and you get so much stressed and you get burnt out. So just do one project at a time. But it's, you know, it's never bad to do something in the background. I think it's always good to escape what you're doing sometimes, to have a little bit of a break, because sometimes you can get a bit bored
Mm.
of doing the same thing and you can get a bit fed up. You know, I
It's a
think,
marathon after all. Yeah.
yeah, you get a bit, you need a bit of a break, because otherwise you're just gonna go, I can't be bothered with this game. I want to quit it. It's absolutely soul destroying. You know, just try and do something in the background. Like I'm always doing stuff like little things and helping people out. But yeah, I'd say not to stack too many projects on top of yourself.
Just like Leander said, like as well, Saul, that was an amazing question. Honestly, like Jake, also for you, I think, again, I'm going to refrain the fact that you're so young. Make mistakes, because look at like the things that you've done have taught you so much that
Yeah.
when you'll be later on working on your projects, you're going to be a phenomenal designer and developer because you've already experienced all of these mistakes. Not only,
Yeah.
it's not like somebody told you, it's you've actually lived through these experiences that you have a clear reference in your head. And I think that's, you know, a lot of programmers said, like, I think my programmer teacher told me, like, make mistakes, but make them early and fast and learn from them fast as well. So that's the way to go forward. Yeah. Well, this has been such an insightful session. Thank you both, Jake and Tony, for joining me on this session. I hope you guys had a good time as well. Again, guys, just want to quickly end it with they're finishing their Kickstarter in 6 days. Any push or try out their game if you can, try out the game and see if you like it. They have a free demo on Steam. If it's something that you're interested in, support their work. You know, stuff like these, you know, they don't happen over a night, right? It's a long process, and we all know that. Yeah. And with that being said, I hope that this session brought you inspiration, insight, and knowledge. But remember, without execution, all of these don't go anywhere. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Take care. Have a great one. It has been such a great stream. And with that being said, I'll see you guys another time. All right?
Bye, guys.
See you guys. Take care.